How's it going, everyone? It's Noir Tapes back with another video. Today I was going to have an overview slash breakdown of the Izotope vinyl plugin. It's always been free. It used to look a bit different when I used to use it, but it's changed over the years. It's got a new modern look to it, and I'm excited to break it down and show you. It's fundamentally the same plugin. All the stuff's the same. It just looks a bit different. It's got like the orange and black overlay instead of the white retro color. And it used to look a bit clunky too. Some of the knobs would move a bit weird and look a bit funny and retro. Now it looks very modern, and I'm excited to show you guys how it works and break it down. Let's get into it. So I got a couple of samples here. I've just got a melodic sample and a drum sample. I'll pull up the plugin first. So this is what the Izotope vinyl plugin looks like now. It used to be white and have all the knobs at the bottom, and it looked a bit weird, to be honest, but now it looks quite nice, quite modern, and it's always got the vinyl turntable moving there, which is kind of cool. Adds a bit of dynamic look to it. So I'll break down the plugin real quick, just go from top to bottom, left to right, and sort of walk you through what it all does. So firstly, up the top, you have an input and output. There's an output gain right there, and you can sum the audio to mono after the plugin if you want, just by clicking this, or you can keep it in stereo. Obviously the bypass button turns off the plugin, so you can hear the before and after pretty easily. Move down here, we've got the different years. This is the popular part of the plugin. People love changing the years to make it sound really old. You can make it sound like it's a vinyl from 1930s, or you can make it sound like it's more modern, up in 2000s. You'll hear the difference when I go through them when I'm showing you the plugin. So next we've got the turntable. This doesn't do anything, it just looks cool. We've got the RPM. You can set it to 33, 45, and 78. This is meant to emulate a turntable, how you have the different sizes of vinyls. I've never seen a 78. It must be pretty small, because the 33 is your normal size long play, and then a 45 is a smaller one that only exists in the middle. So I have no idea what a 78 looks like. It must be really tiny. Next you have the spin down. This is sort of similar to when I reviewed Tape Mello-Fi. On their lo-fi plugin, they had a spin down button as well that you could automate. And it's the same thing here. When you press this, it winds down as if you were turning off a turntable and the music was slowing down to a stop. Next you have the lo-fi button. This just adds a bit of bit crushing to the sound and sort of brings back the sample rate. You can see there it says it adds vintage sampler artifacts. It's very obvious when you turn it on and off. I'll show you when I get to the examples. This is the wear knob. It's just meant to emulate a worn vinyl, so it sounds a bit dusty, gritty, and doesn't sound great. Then up here we've got mechanical noise and electrical noise. These are both things that just happen when you have a turntable. The electrical noise is from the electricity running through the wires, crossing over some of the audio cables. Mechanical noise, I don't really know what causes it, but something inside the actual machine just creates a mechanical noise. And you can adjust the level of that. You have dust. When you turn this up and down, it adds more dust or less dust. And you've got the gain knob that will activate when you turn it up to adjust the volume of the dust artifacts. This is meant to emulate when you get dust on a vinyl and you're listening to the vinyl, it adds those pops and crackles because the needle hits the dust and fuses to the vinyl. You have the scratch adjustment, same thing as the dust. It's meant to emulate scratches on a vinyl, make your needle skip, and you'll hear a bit of a noise whenever you go over a scratch as well. So that's what this emulates. You can turn it up and down to increase the frequency or decrease the frequency, and then you have the gain of the scratch effect as well. And then lastly you have warp. This is meant to emulate warping of a vinyl, right? So when you store a vinyl wrong, you're meant to store it upright. If you store it flat, laying on top of another vinyl, over the years it will start to warp. And so it just gets a bit weird and wonky on like one particular side. When you put the needle on it to play, it goes up and down, it creates these weird pitch variations. You'll hear it when I emphasize it in the examples, but it's just meant to emulate warping of a vinyl. And this knob down here just adjusts the model that the warp will follow. So as I was saying, one side of the vinyl might be warped, might be multiple sections of the vinyl. It just depends on how it was stored. The model knob down here allows you to set the shape of the warping. So if you go with the first one, the sine, it basically will just follow a sine curve up and down like this. And so when it goes up, it warps. When it comes down, it doesn't. So that would emulate if the vinyl was warped on one side, because it would go down and up and down, and you'll notice the warping that way. And you can just change the model to a few different ones. You don't need to play around with it if you don't want to. And there you go. We've just been through the plugin. Now I'll show you some examples. I just turned it off and I've got this sample here. Have a listen to this by itself first. So I'll just go through the plugin, show you some examples of different adjustments you can make. I'll go through the years and I'll add some dust and scratching, and I'll just show you what it does. So first thing I'll do is I'll emphasize the year, turn it to 1930. You'll hear immediately the difference because it will sound like it's on a vinyl from the 1930s, right? The first thing you notice when you start to degrade the years is that the bass response really isn't there anymore. There's no bass. This is common with old vinyls. The bass is like non-existent really. So I'll put it at like 1960. I'll do a spin down real quick so you can hear it. So it's pretty obvious what that does. And I'll show you the lo-fi effect as well. Very obvious difference there as well. I'll go through and add some dust, scratching and warping to show you how that works, and a bit of electrical noise, and I'll add some wear as well just so you can hear it. I'm just going to do this all in one take. I'm not going to bother breaking down each individual part. You'll hear the difference when I add them. So I've added a bit of everything there. I took out the scratching because I hate the way the scratching sounds. I hate it in general. If it scratches when I'm using a vinyl, I'll re-record it. I just hate the scratching. But anyways, so I'll do a before and after here just so you can hear some of the effect. So there's an example on a melodic sample. I've got a drum example here as well, so I'll show you that right now. First without the plugin. Pretty standard drum break. Turn on the plugin, and I'm going to turn everything back to the default. So if I play it now, it should sound normal. First thing I'll do is I'll turn to 1930 so you can hear the effect again. Alright, just so you can hear it. Now I'm going to play around with it. I'll just do one take here and just show you what I can get to sound like and how different you can make it sound compared to the default sound. Now obviously when it comes to drums, keeping the bass is important. This is a good example where you could limit the frequencies with this plugin and then add kicks underneath to emphasize the kick, and it would make it sound really vintage and old. I'm gonna switch the year back probably a bit higher just to keep some of the bass that's in there. I'll put it at like 1980, and now we'll do a before and after so you can hear it. So this is without the plugin. So you can see how this plugin would be very useful in recreating that old sound or just being creative in general, trying out new things, you know. It's free, so you should go download it. Absolutely. You have to download the Izotope plugin portal. I don't really remember what it's called. I think it's just the Izotope portal. But yeah, once you download that, this plugin will be sitting in there, so you can download it for free. And then if you get other Izotope plugins, you just paste the serial number in, and it adds them to your own portal, and you can download them. It's pretty convenient. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'm pretty sure I did a review for the Cymatics Origin. I'm pretty sure. If it's there, I'll link it in the corner here. That's another free plugin. Tape Mellify was free when I got it, but I think they made it paid. It was just free for the first bit to whoever wanted to download it. But this is definitely a good free plugin to use. I would grab it if I didn't have it, for sure. Just handy to have. You never know when you need to create that vinyl sound. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.